biggest trend is the Internet of Things. Again, connectivity is a requirement in order to service assets the way they need to be serviced in these models, to know where they are they being maintained, how are they being used, how much is being used, so that once you have that enabler with the Internet of Things, now you've got the capability of capturing the data and making the data more valuable than the asset actually is. Millennials actually are coming up and they have a philosophy about how they live, how they work, and what they want the planet to look like for their children going forward. And in a usage model where idle assets are considered wasteful, rather than think of that build, use, destroy model, it's a build, use, reuse model. And it's a very important concept because recycling of assets and getting the most out of the asset is what we really want to do, so that we're not being wasteful about getting material supplies and building as a solution instead of reusing assets. A financing company or the funder that stands behind these transactions will I think at first feel somewhat disintermediated with their end users. They are concerned about their credit risk. They understand that when they sit behind the service provider, that they're now relying on the service provider for high quality performance. If there's an interruption in the performance of service, then end users could stop paying. When you look at the service provider and their relationship with the funder, we know that that's really going to be much more under the microscope, where a service provider who's responsible for making sure that there's uninterrupted service and that their performance quality is up to par. Funders will want to have, they rely on that relationship a lot, to a greater extent than they ever have needed to in the past. And when we see service providers having satellite subcontractors, and you're putting all of this and asking a bank to have faith. And that really is a relationship that has to be cultivated over time. So those relationships are newer than they have been. Again, in the past, funders have dealt with hardware. They haven't dealt with a solution that includes non-collateral, things of this nature. They've certainly financed software in the past and services to some extent, but this is now becoming the content that's being sold to a customer or used by a customer. So it's becoming a much more important part of the ingredient.